Hey, thank you for downloading Come Sit With Us. We're so glad you want to listen to us have a natter. We also just wanted to say some of the topics that we discuss you may find offensive or slightly triggering. Sadly, we're not GPs. I would love to have been, but I didn't even pass my GCSEs. So if you do need medical professional help, please ensure you contact your GP. But right now, just come and sit with us.
This podcast is sponsored by absolutely fucking no one. Thanks for listening.
I just love this lip gloss. Okay, shall we start? I'm glad she got rid of him. Like, boy, bye.
Jesus Christ, I couldn't cope. Could you?
That was so brilliant.
Right, let's go, girls.
Hi guys, welcome back to Come Sit With Us. This is episode 4. I'm Minnie.
I'm Lydia.
And I'm Chess, and we're inviting you to come sit with us. So today we're going to be talking about insecurities in relationships, and specifically romantic relationships. So I had a little discussion about this on my Instagram story, and someone was saying to me that the reason they feel insecure in relationships is because it's not like other relationships you have, like from family, because it's easier to leave when it's romantic. There's not so much tying you together, whereas when you're family, they're kind of always there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you've got that blood.
You're stuck
link.
with them.
You've got that DNA. So yeah, we're going to be discussing how we've felt insecure before, and like sometimes how we've overcome it, etc. But first of all, how are you girls?
Very, very good. How are you, Miss Birthday Girl?
Happy birthday!
Thank you. So I am now 25, which I believe is a quarter of a century. Oh
my God.
So exciting.
Yeah, I don't feel old enough to be 25.
Yeah.
Does
But
that make-
by the laws of logic, you are. But you don't feel 25.
No. I suppose it's like the lifestyle that I live doesn't make me, in the eyes of society.
Yeah, I was just about to say, in the eyes of who? Is there a specific, template for what your life should look like when you hit 25? I mean, if there bloody is, I don't want anything to do with it. It's your bloody life, mate. Do whatever you want to do. Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, how are you girls? Liz, how are you?
I'm good, really good. Life is chilled. I'm just so excited just for the small things to come back to normal, so hanging on to that sort of glimmer of hope, but booking a few holidays and all that, not that I probably should be, but yeah, looking forward to going back to normal. So what about you, Min? Are you all right?
Yes, I'm really good. I've just had a really nice week realising how grateful I am for my friends, you guys as well, especially in particular. I've had a bit of a crazy week and my friends have been my absolute rock. So blessed. I'm blessed to be here.
That is an organist heart ever.
Feeling good. Yeah.
So let's get into the episode now, girls. We are going to start with a voice note from one of our listeners, and Minnie is going to play it for us.
Yes, she is. Ready?
I was in a relationship, this one was years and years ago now, and I was never insecure in the relationship at first. It wasn't quite like that. But then there was a certain incident, and then from that point onwards, I was then very insecure in the relationship. So the incident was, he was going to parties and stuff. Apparently he was getting very close to a certain girl and other girls, and I didn't think anything of it, but a lot of people were making me aware of it. And then a month and a half later, still hearing all about it, we were both just chilling, and we were looking at something on his phone, and messages were popping up, and he was swiping them up. And at that point my heart did sink. It's the worst feeling ever, especially when you've been told this for a month and a half. And then rather than swiping up on one, he accidentally clicked it, and there was just so many messages. And then from that point onwards, even though he told me oh yeah, but they're just friends, all of this, I was then very insecure in the relationship. So if the phone was anywhere near me, I'd have a little glance over my shoulder, or I'd want to go on it and just check what's being said. I'd want to know his passwords and stuff like that, so I can like log in. Like, it was just very insecure, and it just made the relationship just go downhill from there, because you just really don't want to be that insecure in a relationship.
So, girls, what do you think of that?
Sucks, man. Like, I think we've probably all been in some kind of situation like that, and it's just so earth shattering. Like, it's like your biggest kind of fear come true, or if you've never even thought about that, then it's a whole new world of pain. You're like, what?
And I think sometimes it shows that you don't always listen to your friends. You have to see it for yourself. So if you're really in love with someone and people are telling you things, you don't necessarily believe them. And it
So
has
true.
to come. Yeah, it has to come to a point where you actually see it yourself. And for that young girl, she saw it herself, and then she was like, right, well, of course I'm going to be insecure. Why wouldn't she be? She's seen that he's been like this.
I think we're quite evil, aren't we? Like, as a generation, it's so sad. I know that sounds awful. I didn't mean like evil as in like, I just meant as in we're all a little bit self-orientated because of like social media and stuff like that. And I think obviously, you know, cheating's become sort of more acceptable, dare I say it, you know, if people are a bit more understanding, if you do go elsewhere, and social media just... It's just, you know, you don't just have to worry about your boyfriend going on a night out and hoping that he remains faithful. You have to worry that while he's at work, while he's having a poo, whatever he's doing, he's not messaging some other girl. Like, it's just exhausting. I think that's why you have to be, you know, secure now more than ever. That poor girl, honestly, it's happened to me before, and I hold my hands up, I've done it to other people. It's just, it's so horrible, and it's so like earth shattering, exactly like you said.
And on that note, I just remembered something, like, you know, the way, Chess, you said that you have to find out for yourself, like, you don't really believe your friends. Well, years ago, I won't say any names, but years ago, my friend's boyfriend at the time tried on with me, and I knew that he had been, I didn't like him at all, never liked him. I knew he had been cheating on her, and I knew that all those rumours were going around, so she'd probably heard them. And we weren't really that close. We weren't speaking really at the time, me and her. And anyway, this one night, he tried it on with me, and I turned him down, and he said like not very nice things about my mate, and kind of like, I was like, aren't you going out with like one of my really good friends? I know we're not, whatever. And then the next weekend, we were all out in the same club, and the two of them were there together, and I went into the bathroom, and she was crying her eyes out because he had accused her of flirting with somebody, and she told me this in the bathroom. And so I was like, bitch, you for real? Because last week, and I literally ratted him out. I was like, last week in here, that fucker was literally trying it. And I stood up for you, and I da-da-da. And at the time, she went crazy, and she went out and she spoke to him. But after that, she kind of didn't really speak to me. And it was like, don't shoot the messenger. And I remember people, like, she then did come around after a while. But initially, she kind of was like, how do I know you're telling the truth? I was like, mate, I don't care enough to lie. But yeah, it is interesting. And then subsequently they got back together after that, and finally then broke up like probably years later.
It's hard to know. I know this is a bit off topic, but it's hard to know if you do tell your friend or you don't, like how to decide. Because my mum's always said to me, like, Francesca, people always shoot the messenger. So I feel like I'd go over to the person and I'd be like, you have got to tell so-and-so. Otherwise, I am going to tell her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the way I'd approach it.
Yeah.
How about you,
I had a
Gail?
similar situation. I had a really, really similar situation. And my mum was like to me, don't say anything. You're young. They won't be together in a year's time. And something happened, and I told them, and to this day I wish I hadn't, because it just caused more problems than it actually solved. And it just breaks my heart. You know, you have the best intentions, but actually, you know, your friend can never forget it, and if they get back together and not that I'm saying you should do that at all. I think, you know, be a loyal friend and be good for it, but just from my experience, my mum was like, don't say anything. And I wish I'd listened, you know, I wish I'd listened all of those years ago. You know, it's so hard to know what.
Interesting.
So hard to know what to do, though. You know, it's so hard to know. you know, someone's intentions and other people, how they see your intentions and what just insecurity is just, I feel like you could go on for hours about it, you know?
So,
Yes.
have you two ever, like, felt insecure in a relationship? I'll start. I have.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely have.
Oh, yeah. Go on, Chess.
Yeah, I definitely have. But I think it's more because of me rather than the other person. Do you know what I mean? I think it's more because of my past experiences, which I'll get into after. But I just constantly want to look on people's phones. But that's so toxic.
I
That's
used to do that all the time.
I've really had to train myself not to do it, because I just think it's an invasion of their privacy, and also it's like you don't trust them even though they haven't even done anything.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not a nice feeling to feel like the person that you're with doesn't trust you and constantly wants to.
And also, like, especially blokes, right? They're not as, like, thorough as us. Like, they don't delete stuff off their phones as much as, like, we... Like, when I get into a new relationship, if I have pictures or videos from a past relationship, like, I'll delete them because out of respect for my new partner. But, like, some guys just aren't like that. And there's that saying, like, go looking for something and you will fucking find it. And that happened to me once, that I caused massive arguments. But I found pictures on a boyfriend's phone, but they were from... ages before me, but I woke him up in the middle of the night. He was asleep. And I was looking through his phone, and then I found these pictures, and I was just there on my own, like, I'm gonna fucking get him. And so then I was like, excuse me, hello. And then he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, why are these pictures on your phone? It was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, who is she? Why are they on your phone? He's like, Min, that was from like 8 months ago. Like, I didn't even know they were there. And then I was just like, I don't believe you. And then you get into all that bullshit, and it's just like, if you look, you might find something.
And I think they genuinely just probably don't even look at them anymore. They've just forgotten they're there. Like, I swear. I just don't think they genuinely, like, remember. What do you think, Liz?
I think I have pictures on my phone of my ex-boyfriend. I'm just sat here like, shit, that is me. I am the bloke. Not intentionally at all. Like, not genuinely. Maybe I can give the male correspondence side to this. I just honestly, I have too much shit going on in my life to just like spend hours going through my phone deleting them. So from that side, like, I get what you mean, and I would definitely be upset if I think that's a really nice thing that I've never heard before. If you go out looking for something, you're going to find something you don't want, because everyone does have a private life and everyone is entitled to a private life. And I actually think trying to just settle into yourself and take a bit more control and not look at the phone, because the chances are you'll go on Instagram and he'll be following a girl and that'll set you off, and he's not even done any. Do you know what I mean? It's just an endless. But I still do it. I still have checked my I've checked my boyfriend's phone in the past. My current boyfriend checked my phone very, very early on in our relationship, and he found some things, and I think he really learnt his lesson of being like, she's not done anything to me, but I didn't like what I saw. So he's very much
I wouldn't have seen that if I hadn't gone looking for it.
Exactly, I wouldn't have seen it. So now on, I'm not going to check it. To my knowledge, he's not checked it, but I have more recently, and I think COVID, like, because of COVID and stuff like that, like, you know,
Lydia,
and,
go
like,
on.
all of these things. Well, I don't know, like, it's just not like me at all, and I've never been in love before, and I love my boyfriend Russell more than I've ever thought you could love someone, and I just guess I'm so scared of losing that. And sometimes when you have those days where you feel anxious or whatever and you want to fight it but you can't, and you just end up looking, and you know, I've just realized again, when you go looking for something, like, you're going to find something. So I'm trying to take a bit more control over that, but I definitely relate to everyone out there. And you know, I'm like, I've built a life with him, and it's so much more than just our relationship anymore. It's my life as well. So I'm scared to lose that, I guess. So I definitely feel insecure.
But I think the more you So my boyfriend's actually said to me before, Francesca, the more you go on and on about it, the more it's like you feel like you want to do something. Because if you feel like someone's attacking you anyway, then you're like, well, if they're attacking me
May
anyway,
as well do it.
May as well do
It's
it.
like, I used to think of it like, when someone used to do stuff like that to me, I used to think of it like, your standards of me are so low and you're accusing me of this shit, and I'm getting the shit in the neck for it anyway. I might as well just live up to your standards of me then, because I'm not going to get treated any differently. I'm still going to get bollocked. I'm still going to get questioned. And so you're totally right. You're totally right.
Yeah, like I used to ring my boyfriend's phone and be like, instead of saying like, hello, how are you? If he was out, I'd be like, where are you? Who you with? Who's there? How many people there? Blah, blah, blah,
Oh
blah, blah,
my
blah.
God.
Yeah. And then it's like, gets to the point where he was like, I don't want to talk to you because I don't do that to you. Like, what are you doing? And I don't know why. I just had this such urge to be like, I don't know if it's a FOMO thing as well. Like, I don't like being left out. Like,
Maybe a little bit.
a little bit of a FOMO
Maybe.
thing. Definitely more of a like psycho controlling thing.
No, not psycho. We don't use that.
Oh no, not psycho. Sorry.
We're just too well connected,
psycho.
aren't we? Like, I
Yeah.
know that there are so many pros and cons and stuff, but we're just all a little bit too well connected. And I think trust has been something that I know we're a lot more liberal and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I like the old fashioned thing of finding someone and working through it, because the grass isn't greener and you're only going to move on to someone else and finding. And I like the sort of old fashioned way of, actually cheating isn't acceptable. And now it is acceptable. And also just being far too well connected, like, your boyfriend going on a very, very normal night out and you having the ability to track his phone, track what he's posting on social media, track where it's just not okay. It's like, I don't know, it's like putting your foot in a fire and like wanting more. I don't know, it never stops, does it? Like,
Someone said to me once, which I think this is a really good thing, the grass is greener where you water it.
Oh, drop my
That has to be the main quote of this episode. Yeah, definitely.
The
grass is greener where you water it.
Thank you so much.
The grass is greener where you wee on it.
Although it will also, if you ever take a shit on it, I mean, that's like what's it called? Fertilizer. So
Cool, you're really digging deep if you're having a shit on the grass, aren't you? Christ. That's like marriage shit.
yeah.
So, girls, this is going to be a bit more deep. Where do you think your insecurities come from? Do you think they come from has it come out from the person that you're with? Like, have they made you feel insecure? Or do you think your insecurities have came from past experiences and past things that have happened to you?
I'll go first because I've thought about this a lot. I think, definitely someone can trigger your insecurities if they act like in a suspicious way or they're being sus, whatever. But I actually think that this is like quite deep now. I think, and I haven't broached this in therapy yet, but I will. I think my insecurities come from, I used to live with my dad. Like, he raised me from the age of 8, right? So it was just me and my dad. And whenever he had a girlfriend, I always got a bit less attention, obviously, and naturally, yeah. But as a kid, I found that really traumatizing. And I felt like the other woman had taken him away. And I was very young, like, this was like 8 years old kind of thing. And then maybe even a little bit older than that, because, but I actually think it's something to do with that, for me. It's just the notion that, like, when someone else is added to the equation, the attention can be taken from you and you're a bit like left out. But I think it kind of like manifested quite extremely in me, in that, like, most relationships I've ever been in, even if they were really good, I was completely convinced that the guy was just settling for me until something better came along. I've never felt that they actually wanted me, and like, that's wrong. That's a lie. That's wrong. I know for a fact that one of them in particular, I'm the only person he's ever been with that he actually ever did love. But when we were together, I never believed him. And it's actually really sad in hindsight.
That is really sad.
Yeah, I apologized to him about that in the last couple of years, because we got close and stuff. Yeah, I've apologized to him and said, like,
Min, you need to take your own advice. You remember when you said to me, believe the words that people say to you. Like, you remember?
That's why. That's how I learned that, though. That's how I learned that. Yeah, it's true. And like, take people for what, believe them, you know, when they show you who they are, take them for what they are. And if they are something other than what they're presenting, that'll probably come out. So you might as well just trust them, because it's nicer for you.
Definitely.
It's nicer.
And also, I know that this is quite a heavy topic, but just to bring a bit of reality into the situation, let's say your partner does cheat. Okay, and all permitting you don't have kids, and because I don't want to speak on something that I haven't been through. So what? Fucking their loss. Go and get on with your life. I promise you, as one door shuts, another door opens. Don't spend your whole relationship questioning them. Really trust you, trust yourself. And if it fucking happens and you find out about it, go and be and live your life and find out who you are. And don't let that person have any more of you than you let on in the first. They just weren't right, and that's okay. And you know, you can get through this because you're a strong person. So I just wanted to add that in there, because I think it's so hard hearing you say that, Min, because I can't, you know, it just must have been really tough for you in your relationships and how you felt.
I was the one that missed out. I was the one that didn't let myself receive love. I was the one that was obsessing over other women. Fucking hell, what an idiot. What a silly girl.
Yeah. I do think, though, it is hard to not let your things that have happened to you, like, carry on with you.
Definitely.
So, like, one of my previous boyfriend, partners, whatever you want to call it, he was very insecure, and he projected a lot of that on me. Like, I think he was always worried about me leaving him. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not in his mind. So if I wore things when I was going out, if I wore, like, short skirts or, like, crop tops or... like I like to wear, because I trained as a dancer. Most dancers don't wear that many clothes. He would always... They don't. All my friends that are dancers were like, whoa. But he would always have a row with me, or start on me, or make me feel uncomfortable and feel like I shouldn't be doing what I was doing. And obviously I'm a very loud, bubbly person, and also I think he didn't like that as much either. And then when I got with someone new, I felt like the insecurities he'd projected on me, I then started projecting on someone else.
Yeah.
And that's where I went wrong. So I then started, hence the calling on the phone. What are you doing? Who are you with? Like, and then I was like, this is not me. I've never been like this.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
You have to forgive yourself. You have to. I feel like, you know, you are very conscious of the fact that you are projecting your insecurities onto Bill, and like that. You know, he's a really good guy, obviously, as we've discussed, and the listeners should know that we've
had many conversations about. We have decided that he is a good man.
The
Come Sit With Us gang have decided that we like Bill. Shout out to Bill if you're listening.
Come Sit With Us approved.
He's got the blue tick. He has got the blue tick. So you do have to forgive yourself, I think, a little bit, Chess. I think what you went through was really, really tough with your ex, and it's good that you recognise that he projected them onto you. And I think it's okay to feel insecure, and it's okay to feel those things, and as long as you're communicating them to Bill in the right way. Don't give yourself don't label yourself, and I know we're not going to use it, but it did come out of your mouth, a psycho, for doing things that you've just learned from past behaviours, you know. Like, it's okay to feel the way you do sometimes, you know, and accept that.
Liz, she was there when I was crying, remember, with previous relationships. She was there. I'd be in the changing rooms at college crying, like, I suppose. But you can't, like we were just saying, taking people for what they are. You can't tarnish someone new with an old brush from someone else. Minnie referred to childhood things. So I get on really well with my dad. I'm actually living with him at the moment. But when I was younger, my dad had an affair and left my mum. And my mum invested so much time into my dad. She didn't work. She looked after us. Like, her job was, she was like a housewife, but she was very, 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 very good at it. She'd do anything and everything for all of us. And I see her do that, and then I see that my dad had an affair, and I think it kind of stayed with me a little bit. And I feel like I'm going to give my all to someone, and then they're just going to cheat on me and leave me, and then I'm going to be left with nothing. So I think it's so important. I've realised it's so important, like Lydia said, to make sure you have your own life, so it's not the end of the world if someone cheats on you and you decide not to be with them, because you have your own stuff going on. You've got your own career. You've got friends that you still see and love, and so actually, key why I'm on Friends. Do not drop your friends out for a geezer. Sorry, don't ever do that.
I agree. And don't underestimate the value of your friends. I spoke to somebody recently who kind of said, you know, they kind of thought like the people who are there for you are your family and your siblings and your partner. And I was like, don't underestimate the value of friendships, because they are the people that will be there through all the partners, through all the family arguments. They're the people that choose to be with you, you know. And also what I was going to say there was, in terms of like bringing old stuff into new relationships, I also think that it's your responsibility, because you can harm people by doing that. And I know I have. It's your responsibility to heal yourself before you get into a relationship. So like, I know I'm not really ready to be in a relationship. I haven't dealt with those, say, insecurity issues. And I don't want to get into a relationship until I feel completely or almost completely confident in myself, because I don't want to put that on someone else, like I've done before, project stuff, be insecure, like all that stuff. So like, take responsibility for yourself. Like, you feeling insecure is not going to be solved by another chap that you meet and fall in love with. In fact, that will make it worse, because then you have more to lose. You actually should be making a conscious effort to work on yourself. And if you meet someone and fall in love, that's great. Continue to work on yourself though, because you'll fuck it up otherwise.
Yeah, so I was
coming from
say,
an expert on fucking things up.
I disagree with you a bit there, Min. Only
Go.
because I have managed to go into this relationship with these insecurities, and I've managed to turn it around with Bill.
Good. But you made the effort to do that.
Yeah. I did make the effort to do that. So I do think, because I feel like no one's perfect, are they? So we're never fully...
We're never fully going to be out of the woods.
Yeah. So as well, you can, if you're willing to, like you said, you can work on it with someone else, with your partner. That's all I wanted to say to that.
Totally.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Lids?
No, I'm just listening. I think, like, you know, obviously I'm quite a bit younger than you guys, and I mean, I'm sure that doesn't change the amount of relationships I've had, as my friends and family would like to remind me. I mean, I've always been really, really lucky with the sort of two main relationships I've ever had before the one I'm in now. They were literally stars. I can't fault them, can't tarnish them, I can't say anything. But I think, like you, Chess, I saw my parents go through something, you know, I was 14, 15 when it happened, so I was quite old. My dad had an affair, and I saw, you know, fortunately my mum's such a strong woman, and she was like, this is my time to shine. And I only ever saw her cry once. I've seen my mum cry less than I have my dad, and she was just like, rah, like, you know, this is my time. I'm going to be a lawyer. She's a family lawyer now. I'm going to be a lawyer, and I'm going to have my own house. And if I ever get in a relationship again, you know, someone will come into my life. I won't go into theirs. And, you know, this is my life now. And I'm battling with, at the moment, I guess, meeting Russell and moving my life to Kent, because actually I really like the countryside and I like the slower pace environment. But my mum, since that happened, has sort of drilled into me this, like, you know, have a career, have a house, you own it all, and then let someone else be a part of your life. And I think I'm really battling with, like, letting go and trusting that hopefully what will be. And actually in my relationship with Russell, I can just enjoy us building a life together, and then if it doesn't work, I'll make it work. But I definitely have that fire inside of me to be this career woman, and you know, you guys know, and then days I feel anxious because I'm battling with letting it go. I guess, I don't know, is that the topic that we were on? I feel like maybe I digressed a bit.
No, but I think the one thing I want to add to that is definitely, like, you can, like, want to build your life with someone, and that's what it should be, a relationship, right? But I'm an advocate for keeping a separate bank account at all times. And I know people who are in their 60s who are still together, who have lived their whole lives together, and the woman has said to me, my friend's mum has actually said, like, I always have my own bank account in case anything ever happened, because anything could happen. And I keep my own bank account. I am an independent person. And like they have joint ones as well, but she has her own bank account for her. And
Yeah.
I
My
think,
mum-
and she was like, that is the key to feeling as well, still that you're in your
Secure.
power.
Yeah.
Even though, yeah.
Yeah.
And
My
like,
mum
you just
wishes-
never know.
My mum wishes she had done that. She had her separate
own.
money because she didn't.
Yeah.
She just wishes that she had. So that is really, really good tip.
My mum divorced my dad and took him for all of his money.
Oh yeah, my mum did take most of my dad's money as well. But my mum did the same, but she still wishes she'd have had originally, like as they were growing together, she wishes she would have saved some money and not just spent loads of money.
It is good in the eyes of the law, speaking about that, you know, if you are a little bit older and you're married and you do feel insecure and blah, 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 that I believe in, like, I'm not a lawyer, but in the eyes of the law, if you are a stay-at-home wife, that is a job and you're not going to get overlooked because you didn't bring in the income. Just to reiterate, that's slightly separate topic, but, you know, just because we're not in that situation, I think that they do in the eyes of the law classify it as a job. If you've given up your life to take care of the house and the home, then, you know, I don't necessarily know it's 50-50. I guess it's case by case, but you do. That's what my mum does for a living. She fights for people to get what they're entitled to, you know, when they're getting divorced.
But I don't think, like, obviously the law supports you money-wise, as we just said, but it's still having something to do, so your whole emotion is not invested into that other person. So having something that you're passionate about. So it's not necessarily about money as well. It's about having that you have something left if they go. Yeah. So girls,
definitely.
You still have the essence of you. Sorry.
Yeah, sense of self.
Yeah, so we're coming towards the end now, but I just want to know if you have any ways that's helped you get over your insecurity. So for me personally, I would say that living in the moment and being in the moment rather than worrying about the future has helped me. So enjoying the time that we're in and not thinking about, oh my God, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. That's my thing. What about you two?
I mean, I'm still working on it, but I think your relationship with yourself is so important. And I do like affirmations because I have historically had extremely low self-worth and low self-confidence and self-loathing issues growing up. I've never ever accepted or loved myself until recently, and I'm still doing it. But like loving yourself, telling yourself that you think that you're successful, beautiful, that you're a good person. Like I have to remind myself, like deep down, I'm actually a good person. I don't wish harm on anyone. I try and help people. You know, I am a good person. And of course I deserve love. Of course I deserve for someone to, you know, worship the ground I walk on or whatever it is. But it's like just being committed to yourself in that way, to be and my friend actually as well, shout out to my friend, she has a new company called Motivational Mirrors. She sent me these stickers to promo on Instagram, these stickers that you put on your mirror that say like whatever, I am successful or I am beautiful or I am whatever. And like if you look up, you're supposed to say affirmations, say like 5,000 to 7,000 times a day, for example, to reprogram your brain, which it actually does. So yeah, shit like that, like constantly just reminding yourself of who you are, of what you've achieved, and the good things about what you've done in your life. Not like beating yourself up all the time. You're never gonna be able to love or forgive yourself if you just continue to beat the shit out of yourself, you know. And I think once you feel that way, the insecurities and all that stuff will subside, and you'll understand. I never could understand what people saw in me. Now I'm starting to see what people see in me.
Aww.
You know? I think it's so important.
Remembering that I'm a bad bitch and it's his loss.
Once upon a time and I heard that I was ugly.
I felt like what Minnie said was so inspirational. I just wanted to wrap it up with the energy. No. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on my insecurities and
we all are.
My anxiety. Yeah, definitely. I feel like you guys are sort of probably a bit further down the line than me. How do I deal with it day to day? put it to the back of my head, maybe. No, I for me, I actually think too much. I am a huge believer that communication is everything, and that you need to speak about everything and every emotion and everything. And I, which is why I'm probably quite intense. Anything that comes in my head is out of my mouth before I've even actually had a chance to process it. So at the moment, in every aspect of my life, actually, not just feeling insecure in a relationship, I'm really trying to work on what thoughts, because they're not real, I actually filter through and process and think about, and what thoughts actually are just passing thoughts, and what I should just be strong enough to have trained my mind to let go. So I'm starting things like meditation and because if you read The Power of Now, which obviously you, Chess, said that you want to be in the moment, it's kind of teaches you that your thoughts are actually just thoughts, and those insecurities, unless you have reason, which is a totally separate subject, aren't real. They're not. They're the future is an imagination of your mind. So I'm just trying to work on at the moment being in the now, having those self-affirmations, exactly like Minnie said, and also just accepting that sometimes those thoughts aren't real, and you can control some of them. So trying to take a bit of, not reaching for the phone as soon as it's there because it's the easy option. Actually sitting back and going, okay, I'm having a good day, we're having a good day. Do I need to do it, or am I just being a bit of an idiot and it's just a bit of a phase that, everyone kind of checks the boyfriend's phone or the girlfriend's phone, so I'm going to do it? No, I don't. I have no reason to do it, and she's entitled to a private life, and I'm just going to be strong enough to sit with that, is what I'm trying to work through. Good days and bad days.
Very good.
Yeah. Also, I think Lydia said a bit about this, but she said she communicates too much. Is that what you were saying, Lids? That sometimes you feel like... Yeah. So
definitely.
I also do think if you're not a communicator, communicating is key with your partner. Yeah. Saying to them, I feel insecure about this, I feel insecure about that. I just want to let you know. Minnie actually told me to do this, by the way, so I'm actually stealing Minnie's words. So I just want to let you know... So I just want to let you know that these are the things that I'm dealing with. This is what I'm trying to overcome.
Definitely.
So you can,
and it would help me if you did and then you pick the things that would help you.
Definitely. When you communicate, because I really find relationships genuinely really interesting. And I've always, in another life, wanted to be a relationship counsellor, but I'm just not very good at them myself, so I wouldn't ever be. I just like hearing about relationships. But when you communicate, if you are, let's say you're sat here I'm communicating, maybe I'm maybe I'm this, and it's not working. Try and change the way you speak to someone is a really good tip that I've learned. Rather than saying, you make me feel like this, if you say, this is what I am struggling with, is there a way that you can help me deal with this? It makes the other party feel like they're less on the attack. But I am definitely just an oversharer, so I think the general rule of thumb is you're probably an undersharer. I'm definitely in the minority. So speaking to your partner, friends, family, I think we're all in agreement. Communication is key.
Yeah, and wording is key, like you just said.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Girls, we've come to the end of our 4th episode.
Oh my
goodness. So I'm just going to say quickly where you can follow us and where you can find us. So Come Sit With Us is on Spotify. It's on the Apple Podcast app. Also on all of our Instagrams, we have a link to a website that takes you to all of them. So mine is chess_victory. Lydia.
I'm Livelids.
And I'm @_neon saint. And don't forget not, we need you to do this for us. It will help us so much. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We love it. You love it. Tell us. Put on the review on Apple Podcasts. Okay, great. No, please leave a review, guys. It would really help us out. Because we've been getting some awesome feedback, and people have sent me essays about stuff we've talked about on Instagram or over text, and I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing. Please write that in a review though, because it would really help us out. So if you do have a little bit of extra time, just hop on there and leave us a little review. It would mean the world.
And on Instagram, we are Come Sit With Us 101. Yeah. So thank you for listening, everyone, and you'll hear from us next week.
Aw, happy birthday, Chess.
Guys.
Love you both.
Happy birthday, Chess. Love you guys. Chess, you're getting old, baby.